Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Crypt Finder. So, as I go through this series on made for TV movies and I'm offering recommendations to all of you, I am firmly aware that some of these movies are not true classics, in the sense of the word, but the one that I'm covering tonight really does stand way up there in the pantheon of really strong supernatural horror movies that were made for TV. Right up there with The Night Stalker and Trilogy of Terror and some others that I've covered from October the 10th, 1973. The movie we're going to talk about tonight is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. This was the ABC movie of the week, and some may find its effects really dated now, and yeah, the acting might seem a little bit campy or even melodramatic, but this film holds a really special place in the hearts of a lot of people who saw it at the time. If you were of a very impressionable age and you happened to catch it at the time, it made quite the lasting impression. So we might be looking back at it, and it's the nostalgia factor of sort of the terror that it brought to us at the time. But also, you can't really overlook the sort of psychological tension, that element of horror that I think still allows it to hold up even today. This film stars Kim Darby as Sally Farnham. She inherits this enormous Victorian mansion and decides to spend a lot of time renovating this particular house. And that includes turning a very old basement into a sewing slash sitting room. But her troubles really begin when she opens a mysterious door in an old fireplace. And unbeknownst to Sally, releasing the door's contents sets free these three small gnome-like creatures that begin to inhabit the house, and ultimately they want her to join them. Jim Hutton plays her career-driven, skeptical husband, Alex. This was originally a role intended for George Hamilton, but Hutton's portrayal adds a real layer of, at least the character's disbelief of what's happening to his wife. And certainly Hutton adds a lot of tension to the story because he's struggling to ultimately reconcile his wife's claims with the increasingly strange occurrences that are happening within their home. You also have William Demarest in the cast here. He plays Mr. Harris. He's a handyman who's been hired to help renovate the house. And of course, he will be instantly recognizable to fans of the TV series My Three Sons because he played Uncle Charlie from 1965 to 1972. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. It really excels at being able to create sort of a pervasive sense of dread. The film masterfully employs whispery voices and fleeting shadows to evoke fear, relying more on the power of suggestion rather than overtly showing the creatures at all time. And this subtle approach really heightens the tension, keeps the viewers on edge, proving that really, well, yeah, less can be more, at least when it comes to horror. Some critics have complained that they think it's a stale plot, even though they're writing years removed from the original air date, and I completely disagree here. I think the concept of this movie is one of the things that make it truly frightening. And just real quickly, I'll tell you two very short stories to help prove just that point. So, yes, I was that strange kind of a kid. I saw this in 1973 and I loved this movie. But the next day, I was telling another little boy about this film and I was describing how the creatures came out of this sealed door in the fireplace and they were constantly whispering throughout the movie, like, Sally, we want you. That sort of thing. The little boy burst into tears, was completely traumatized just by me describing the plot of the film. Okay, so jump forward years later. Now I'm renting a house and it was a very old house. It had the upper level and then there were apartments in the lower level. But to get to the washer and the dryer, you had to go down into the cellar, which was out the stairs were outside the house. So no matter where you lived in the house, you still had to go out to get down into this basement. And I remember this guy telling me, who lived there, like, I don't like to go down there. It's just kind of eerie and creaky, and it just makes me uncomfortable. And I don't know what that little door is for. Now, it was probably for storage, but I couldn't help it. I said, well, I can imagine what it would be for. And then I just laid out the plot of this film. After that, he would never go down there at night to do his laundry again. So I hope this proves the point that, much like the title of this movie, sort of the fear of what we don't know, the unknown, and fear of the dark and what's in the dark, that's what's really, really compelling. I think that's part of the hook of what makes this movie so chilling. Kim Darby delivers a really compelling performance here as Sally Farnham. Darby's sort of growing terror is both convincing and very relatable. Jim Hutton's role as the skeptical husband, that adds again a layer of sort of psychological tension because his disbelief contrasts so sharply with Sally and her increasing level of fear. The film really taps into some of those primal fears that I guess all people really have. It's fear of the dark, fear of things hiding in the dark corners under the bed or in the closet. And these themes seem to resonate with anyone who has experienced any sort of childhood terrors. And I think it makes the film's horror both personal and ultimately very enduring too. While the creature effects might seem very dated, at least by today's standards, the film's restrained use of them helps contribute to the eerie atmosphere. The creatures remain pretty largely unseen, just hidden in the shadows, which allows the audience's imagination to sort of fill in all those terrifying little details. This approach definitely keeps the suspense high and the fear very, very visceral. In 2011, they did do a remake of this movie, again, same title, and it was produced by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Katie Holmes and Guy Pearce, and while the remake features more elaborate creature effects, it just lacks sort of that continuous creeping atmosphere of the original. I think the original's charm lies in its ability to create the tension and the fear with very minimalist design and more a focus on the psychological horror aspect of it. This classic made-for-TV movie was directed by John Newland, who is already known for his work in One Step Beyond. He also had done episodes of Star Trek and Night Gallery, and the film's success, I think, lies in its ability to sort of blend the supernatural elements with the psychological narrative. Newland's direction ensures that the film maintains a very taut, suspenseful pace throughout. The film's ending here, it's a real standout because it proves that a very chilling conclusion can leave your viewer super unsettled. We don't have any easy answers here. We don't understand what these gnome-like creatures are. We don't understand where they come from. And we really don't understand much about their motivation, except that they want Sally to join them. But that's really about it. And where you would have some films, you would certainly be tempted, I think, as a writer, to want to have everything neatly resolved. That does not happen in this particular film. Again, no spoilers, but it certainly doesn't have the normal character arc of someone who goes through a particular journey like this and comes out on the other side, maybe a little bit wiser for wear, but that is not the case in this one. And so it actually makes the story so much more eerie because of that. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark has achieved a real cult status over the years, remembered very fondly by those who grew up seeing this unique blend of suspense and supernatural horror. Its influence can certainly be seen in later horror films that explore similar themes of childhood fears and hidden dangers. The script was actually by Nigel McKean, and he was a sometimes actor, and he actually does voice one of the creatures in the film as well. You also have amazing creature designs here by Michael Hancock. It was just off the charts for early 1970s television. They're not going to seem as fantastic in comparison to today's like super special effects and CGI, but for the time they were really quite impressive, and I still think even now they sort of pack a wallop. So, if you have ever been terrified of sort of the unknown things out there in the dark, then I think that you really will like this movie, and it's worth checking out. Don't be afraid of the dark. It just left a chilling impression on so many of us who saw it back in the day when it first aired. Now, if you are a very cynical adult, yeah, you're probably not going to like it that much. Yeah, certainly not as much as when we saw it when we were kids. The world seemed a lot younger and more innocent back then. And so having something like this beamed over the airwaves directly to your televisions when you were a child, it was really, really impressive to watch. And so I hope that you do go seek it out. Though, if you remember this movie, please comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. And if you've never seen it before and you go and watch it, okay, let us know if you think it holds up or not. So, number one, watch out for all those things creeping around in the dark. Number two, don't decide to open any metal doors that have been built into a fireplace. It seems like that's just asking for trouble. And number three, remember to stay curious and stay scared. Watch yourself.